Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Realness with three S's. Back with entertainment in color. Tamika is back in North America from her vacation.
Yes.
Welcome back to Tamika. I am so excited to hear your thoughts on this past week of Love Island USA. So I think this most recent episode that we'll talk about specifically is episode 35, I think. Or is it 36? Might be 35 or
Ooh, I
36.
don't know. Yeah.
It's
I
up
think it
there.
might be 35 because I think
35.
36 was unseen bits.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So you are back. So what do you want to share with us about your time away? And what was it like catching up on this week's events? Because I think quite a bit went down,
Yeah.
especially watching it just like as a marathon. A lot might have happened.
Right. So I actually watched up until Friday before I left on my cruise Saturday because I watched it in my hotel room. So I was kind of caught up to that point. And then, of course, a new show started Sunday. So I missed Sunday through basically Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, a lot happened. A lot I agreed with, a lot I wasn't shocked with. Some things I was like, wow, yeah, no, I'm not sure why that happened. But
Did you know who Phoebe was before you left, or was that
yeah,
someone? Okay, you did. Okay.
yeah. And she could have left my screen for all I get. I wish I could fast forward through all her scenes. I couldn't stand her. Um,
Seems like the sentiments of most.
yeah, I'm
Except for
not a
Jeff.
fan. Yeah. Ooh. I feel like Jeff with Phoebe, I'm going to, if you're watching BB, it's kind of feeling like a Turner, Alyssa, Kyle situation. Like he really kind of wants to be with her, but is protecting her for the other person, but he really wants to be with her kind of thing.
Oh, so that's your take. I thought that as well at one point, but then somebody put a new thought into my mind. I don't know if I believe it yet, but it's just something that I've been thinking about a little bit.
Okay.
And that is that potentially Phoebe and Jeff are producer plants to stir up the drama. And so them encouraging Jeff to always want to big up Phoebe. So Phoebe will be, in Casa More. Phoebe would be likely to be kept by Isaiah. Because if Jeff wasn't like instigating that with Isaiah, be like, oh yeah, she's different. She's out of this world. She's so good. You really you can't say no to that opportunity. I don't know if Isaiah would have made that choice at Casa More. I'm not sure. Maybe he would have, but I'm not sure if he would have. And then even with Phoebe being so eager to stay in the villa, I'm sure that the producers like, hey, if you want to stay, you got to go and talk to somebody else, and just kind of pushing them to continually be part of the drama and stir up the drama. So not that they are, I don't know if they knowingly knew that they were producer plants. I think that they probably felt as though that they were being genuine, but maybe they're being manipulated by production to get them to stir drama and, mess people's relationships up.
I mean, I also had that feeling too about Turner too, so that the producers were pushing him to do a lot of stuff he's doing this week. So that's also possible. We know that production does have a hand in how these people move. They might not do it like straight on, you have to do this. They might lead them with questions, lead them with movements, kind of show them the way. Mm-hmm. So that's also possible. I do have concerns of whether or not that's true, only because a bunch of stuff has come out. I don't know if you know about the Tiger Lily situation.
Yeah, we're gonna get to this.
And I do have some qualms about a lot of it. But yeah, I could see that, and I also can't. The only thing is with Jeff, I've never been a fan of Jeff, but I don't feel like he was fake in the way that I think that he was fake, that he didn't really like Naja like that. But I also do think his persona was his persona. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I mean, for me, I like what we had seen up until last episode of Jeff. I enjoyed it personally.
Right.
Like I found him to be entertaining. I thought that he was cute. He would be somebody that maybe I would be interested in if I was 5 years younger than him or something. You know what I mean? And so he has some swag and yeah. So, and he dresses well. And so I was like, I kind of like Jeff. And I always thought, though, that he was putting it on Naja, right? Like, I thought
Yes,
he liked her. Yes. I thought he probably thought
yes,
she was beautiful. Yes. But I
yes,
always thought that, like, he doesn't know this woman. Like, why is he saying that she's a mother of my kids and
yeah,
she's like so amazing when she hasn't really been giving him anything to make
anything.
him believe
Mm.
that it's so possible? Then all right away he's like, oh baby, mama, mommy,
Yeah,
and like
yeah,
pulling her into bed and like, oh, I'm all about you, and like,
yeah,
cool. It's nice that you're saying this, but I never saw the progression from where the relationship went from him thinking that she's beautiful and hot and would like to be with her to
yeah,
her being like his be all and end all. So
right,
I feel like the intensity of his relationship with
yeah.
Naja might have been put on a little bit.
And if you think about it, a lot of those statements were made in ITMs, right? They were made in his diary camps. They were not made
To
necessarily
her.
to her. And then
Mm-hmm.
when we would see things like the unseen bits, he would be like messing with her or feigning like he don't care about her. Like I really do wonder if that part of it was played up by him knowing that that's what he needed to do to get to where he needed to get to. And I also think that played in her hand of like, okay, let's stop the bullshit. I'm getting out of this now. I'm
Well,
not taking you to the end.
and it also plays into the fact that she did not think that he was going to come back single from Casa Moore. And
Right.
so, like, she didn't even question it. Like, it wasn't like some,
No.
like, people would be like, oh, do you think he's going to come back single? Like, it
Right.
wasn't even something that crossed her mind. And so, that to me would lead me to believe that she felt as though they weren't at that level at
Right.
all. I do still think that she decided to hitch her wagon to Jeff because he was popular
Right.
and he was showing interest in her, and
Right.
she expected him to come back with someone and he didn't. So I think all those things together made her be like, hey, maybe I should give them another chance, because maybe her first instinct was, I don't know, this guy's a player, I don't know if I'm interested in this guy. Like, she had some instincts because she didn't want to be that completely open to him. And
Right.
so I do think that she also changed her tune and maybe put it on a little bit, that she was more interested in him than she actually was, for the fact of the reasons that I already just stated.
Right, I agree. And I think my whole other thing with the Phoebe situation is I do think he wanted Phoebe. I personally think he wanted Phoebe. But
I
that's
can see
only
that.
from his,
I
his
thought that at one
statement.
point.
Yeah, only from his statements in Casa More. But again, he also said he didn't think him and Phoebe would work because she's taller than him. So I'm not sure if he likes a taller girl.
Yeah, he wants to be
So
bigger for sure.
yeah. So I think that kind of played into it. But also, just like what we just saw, I really do kind of think he wanted her personally.
Mm-hmm. Hi, Jessica. Jessica's here. Hi, ladies. Happy to see you back, Tamika. Hope you had a great vacay.
I did. It was wonderful.
V's here as well. Hey, ladies. Nice to see you back, Tamika. Hello, ladies. Hi, Charlene. Hi, CJ. Hi, Tasha. Welcome back, Tamika. Hey, ladies. Welcome back, Tamika.
Hey,
Hope your
Danita.
vacation was good. Yes. Danielle, hello. So Danielle says, I think Jeff's dad saying he was iffy on Naja is what led to the downfall. Absolutely. Like 100%. We're going to get into that shortly.
Yep.
So I was already tired of Jeff, but this episode sealed it. Yeah. Like I have so much to say about this episode with Jeff. Like, it was not a good look. He ruined anything that he could have possibly gained from this show, in my opinion. Hi, Joel. So Joel says Jeff overreacted big time. He has more pride and ego than brains. Stay away from him. He's also really young with an ego.
I was gonna say I'm the only reason why I think it's possible for him to rebound. He's 23.
I think 24. Is 23?
23, 24. He's young.
And he's an Aries.
And he's an Aries.
I mean, I love Aries, but Aries are, it's their way or the highway. They're volatile. Yes, they can be antagonistic. They're ruled by Mars, which is the god of war, and so they have that like combative energy. And so until you get older and learn how to use that energy, it can come off as aggressive. It can come off as snappy.
Every day I'm trying to teach my Aries boy how to not be that way. He's very blunt. He's very straightforward. It's very simple. And my daughter and I are like you can't say, like, especially to a woman, that's not how you say it. Like, you have to have more nuance. You have to have more. No, he's just like, but it's true.
Oh boy. Yes, I'm glad you're showing him the ropes now
I'm
because
trying. I'm
it's
trying.
he'll learn. He'll eventually learn.
Yeah.
It'll be just softer if he learns from you.
Mhm.
Hi, Danita. So Danita says, I wonder if Jeff could also not like Deb as much since her coming back with someone from Casa while his boy Jesse stayed true to her. He doesn't seem to be a big fan of them after that.
No,
I'm not sure about that.
I don't think it had anything to do with Deb personally, because even Nadja and him both said they liked Deb and Jesse separately. I think it literally was that they wanted Phoebe and Chad to be in the finals with them as like a kind of a one up.
Yep. Hi, Sans. Hi, Nicole. I thought Jeff was 25. I don't think he was.
I don't
Maybe
think he's
I'll have to
that
look it up.
old.
I feel like 24,
Yeah, I
but
think
maybe he's
23,
25 or he's
24.
23. Like he's
I
still
think it
young.
was an odd number.
Oh, if it's an odd number, then I think he's 25. Jeff is
Yeah.
an Aries. I don't know why I thought he was a Virgo. I think because there was
There was a rumor, I think.
yeah, there was
Right?
like a whole list of everybody's signs that they got some of them wrong. So just so you guys know some of the signs that are wrong, I believe Jeff is an Aries now. I think that has been confirmed. That Bryce was actually a Gemini. So that was actually a big mishap on Courtney because I think they could have actually gone really well together. Sagittarius and Gemini are pretty good. And what was the and Sydney is a Libra, not a Sagittarius apparently. And so that also will make a little more sense as to why they're not able to communicate as well, because if it was Sagittarius and Pisces for Isaiah, like they both are ruled by Jupiter, so they're gonna have like usually probably intense passion and like big energy for each other. But if she's a Libra, she's gonna always want to be in a relationship, yes, but like they're not gonna be able to communicate that well because he's gonna be emotional and she's gonna be like, I want to be able to communicate with words better and values.
And we kind of saw that, right? Like right
Mhm.
before this, when they were going through that thing with the statement.
I want a big gesture.
Yeah. Yeah.
V found out that Zita's ethnically from Ghana. I mean, I felt like she
Yeah.
looked as though she would have been from
Yeah.
Ghana.
Yeah, I
Also
think
from
we knew
there.
that from the start of the season. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where I always assumed she was from. So I don't know where her background, anyways. So, but you were from there as well. That made you love her even more. That's great, V.
Yeah.
It's nice
Yeah,
to see some.
she's Ghanaian, but she was born in Surrey, London. And now she's in the States modeling and acting.
Yes. Oh my God. I want to actually, on her Instagram, she has like a TV movie where it looks like she's like the bad guy, or like she's like, I don't know, she's like the sexy person that's in custody or something, that she's the, not a witness. She is, when people think that they're the suspect, she's the suspect. Hi, Miss St. Peace. Hi, ladies. So who do y'all think should have gone home?
When? Like
this most
the right people went home. I'm going to say the right people went home because personally, Phoebe and Chad, they might have something, but they have not proven that they even have an inkling of even. And trust me, I don't think Deb and Jesse are going to work outside the villa, but they at least have a connection that maybe they will try. I don't see that even Phoebe and Chad proven that they even have something to even try outside the villa. Like what would be the basis for that?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that, oh my God, when we get to Buddy Buddy, but like the fact that they didn't have enough time is a very good, and it's a sound reason.
It's a solid reason
for them not to be going to the final. If we're looking at people that have like potential, that's completely different. Than a lot of people wouldn't have been dumped, right? But we're looking at for people that they think that could potentially win the show, and they cannot win the show. Right. Deb and Jesse, even if you don't think that they have a good relationship, or you don't think that they will last, they have a better shot at winning the show than Phoebe and Chad do. Just facts. The audience knows them better. So I think the right people did go home.
I mean, and to be fair, if Timmy, Zeta, Sydney, Isaiah wanted to sabotage somebody, they should have sabotaged Deb and Jazz. They're the ones that have the most against them if they really cared to be doing a game, they could have pulled in Phoebe Chad to try
to make sure that they would win for sure and get all
win.
their votes.
But
But
I
people might have
really
been
do.
pissed off with them if they did that too.
Right, but they would have reason. Like there's actual basis. But if they really were trying to win the show, they could have done that. I do feel like they all really genuinely think that Deb and Jess have something that they should try outside the villa. I think it's mostly on Jesse's side. Jesse really seems to like Deb. I'm not understanding why. She's giving him nothing. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people were saying it's on the other side. I don't feel like he likes her, but he seems to have convinced himself he likes her. I don't know why. I personally feel like he had more chemistry with Serenity. Personally, I feel like he had more chemistry with Mac. At this at this point, he could go off and go with either one of them, and I actually would be like, okay, I could see that. That being said, I think their basis of friendship absolutely leading into more based on the time that they've been given is not. I think we said the same thing with UK that what they're asking for and what they're looking at trying to do is not unreasonable given the time that they have been in the villa, but they also had more time than Phoebe and Chad to do something like that.
Exactly. And so we're going to get to it soon, but it held zero water.
No.
Danielle says, I did a Libra once. It was awful. They could never make a decision, communicate what they wanted. True. What's your sign again, Danielle? Because like I can handle a Libra, but I'm an Aquarius, so like I'm able to, I just make the decision. So and it doesn't bother me if like they won't be wishy-washy because like I'll just make the right decision. So it just could depend on your sign as well as to whether or not you were compatible with how Libras communicate. I'm so glad Phoebe is off my screen. Aren't we all? Aren't we all? Yes, that was what I was asking and agreed. Yes, Miss St. Pete. All right, so let's talk about this episode a little bit. So we start off this episode with Naja and Jeff returning from the hideaway. So what do you think about them getting that hideaway right before the final?
Hilarious, but that was only because I knew what happened later. But um, I do, of course, think they were the right couple chosen.
Then yeah, oh, that's okay. So you're basically the same combination as Sydney and Isaiah,
Mm-hmm.
and so just like it just flipped, like male female, or I'm assuming. Anyways, but yeah, that is not necessarily going to be a way to communicate effectively. Not necessarily. Right. You'll probably want to be emotionally satisfied, and they're going to want to be like satisfied with words and thoughts and ideas.
Sorry. I do feel like they were the right couple, but again, if y'all thought that Chad and Phoebe were so far, why don't you give them the hideaway instead of y'all? But anyway, like I do feel like they were the right couple chosen. I do think that they were in a good place. Because she even was saying that she might have sex. I don't even know if they had sex. To be honest, they could have, and the way it sounded like they might have messed around.
Mm-hmm. Well, it sounds like they like maybe a little bit, and then they're like, oh, we shouldn't do this kind of thing. It might have been like that kind of vibe, because after their hideaway, they're in their confessionals, they're like joking around about like, things happening, and nothing happened. Oh, I didn't do anything. Nothing happened. So I think probably maybe at least third base, maybe a little bit of home.
Yeah.
A little slide into home, slide out.
It just wasn't, I don't know. I'm not into them as a couple. And I'm not even into Jesse and Deb as a couple, but their hideaway's better.
Really?
I thought it was funnier.
It was funnier. Patty cake, for sure.
And him on the pole. And
cringe.
But it was still funny. Because then when she even told them, they're like, did you go on the pole? She's like, no, Jesse did. And just to me, that just was kind of funny. But that's just me. Best hideaway still for me is Zimmy's, but
absolutely, they were funny, they were sexy, they were real. Obsessed. Anyways, I don't know why like they're like, oh, that hideaway is crazy. It's like, have they never been in a hotel room before? Like, this is like an ugly room with some
I
like
think it might be the
handcuffs.
toys and stuff that they did. Is this the first hideaway with like literal toys, like dress up toys and all that
I
stuff?
don't think so, because remember, usually underneath the bed used to have some stuff,
Oh, okay.
like
I
in the
because
drawer under the
I
bed.
remember I only watched from like 5, so I don't know if I didn't know if it
It
was like
seems like there was more of a focal point because it was like a cupboard door.
yeah,
But usually it was like the bed underneath the bed in the front. They
yeah,
pulled that out and it had like
and they had
costumes and
stuff.
stuff.
Okay, got it. So I think that just this season they played it up a bit, but yeah,
But like I guess it's on Peacock, so they just want people to get right to the
yeah.
bed.
I
But
mean, well,
like,
we saw with them with the BDE challenge, dying laughing because I was like, okay, so we're just really leaning into this being streaming. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad.
well, like I just thought that they would maybe utilize. Isn't there a hot? There's usually a hot tub on the hideaway, so
Yeah,
like
I
none
don't
of the
know if
couples.
they have a hot tub. I can't figure because I've not seen them in a hot tub
And it should be though. Like that would be like you would think to get those sexy
in the mood.
conversations, and they're like, "Yeah, like I'm so happy to be in the hideaway with you," and then you get like going to bed after and whatever. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I don't know, but it just seems like it's just like giggle, 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 pull, bed,
yeah.
nights out,
Maybe
lights out.
because it's California, no hot tub. I don't know.
I don't know, but I
They had
would
a hot
think
tub
that's
last
so.
year. I don't know. I don't.
But yeah, also to make it seem as though maybe it went all the way was because they say that they only had 2 hours sleep. Uh,
Yeah,
why are you still awake?
and his shirt was ripped.
Oh, right. Well, he just like, ah. So Jesse and Timmy have a conversation, obviously, about Deb, and he's talking about how he shot his shot and he missed, but he doesn't want to ruin what they built. And I think like I have been feeling for Jesse because I do think that he thinks that he's doing what he needs to do in order to get the girl.
Right.
But what he's missing is him being himself and him
You
being
don't think he's
fun.
being himself?
Well, he's a different version of that himself when he's with the guys. And not to say that, like, yes, you're going to be different with your girlfriend than with your guy
Mhm.
friends, but there's just like a lighter energy. Like, he just like kind of just talks a little bit monotone when he talks.
Mhm.
Yeah, I really like you. Yeah, I
Mhm.
like you. I really like you. Like, I need a little bit more from him. So he
Mhm.
might be being himself, but
Mhm.
he's not very engaging. They're not creating a coupledom. They're not like I was saying before, like they don't have any inside jokes. They don't
Mhm.
have any fun games that they play with each other. They don't have any they're not vibing as a couple. And I think that that's because he's a bit reserved, and that maybe his reservation is part of his personality, but
Right.
it's not bringing out the best in Deb and vice versa.
I
In my opinion.
personally feel, and only because I've been here. Literally, I was married to a Taurus. We're both Tauruses. I feel like as much as we are the same, we are different. And I feel like Deb and Jess are the same way. As much as they're the same, they are different. And one of them feels like they have to dim their light in order to come to the same place as the other person. I think that person is Deb.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying he won't accept her for her, but because she continues to dim her light to be with him, creates resentment. And then for him, it creates this thing where when she becomes her person again, who is she? Why are you a new Deb? Why are you not the person that I grew to love? And because she never was the person
Right. She
that
was
and
being a
and I did that. I did that for many, many years in order to be in my marriage with my person because I thought that that's what I had to do in order to be with him. And so then when I was myself, it was, why are you like this? Blah, blah, blah. Uh, and kind of him vice versa. Like as we grew, same thing. I think that the issue also is Deb because I think she's also not communicating with him exactly what her concerns are.
but I don't think she can articulate it.
But that doesn't mean that she's like But that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying she's the problem. She's the one with the concerns and she's not articulating it. And I'm not saying that she can articulate it, but that's why we're here where we are. That's why we're here where we are.
I mean, I agree with that, but I also just feel as though, I guess there's a lid for every pot, and I'm not his lid. I'm not his lid at
Oh,
all.
I'm not saying
No,
he's
I'm just
perfect. I keep telling you, I don't think Deb's his person. I think his person was Serenity. I think his person could be Mac. I think he's more of a truer person to other people, but I think the person who's doing themselves the most disservice in this relationship is Deb.
but I think that Deb it thinks that she is like doing enough, right? And like she doesn't know how to necessarily articulate because he hasn't been doing anything wrong. And I don't know. I find him boring, and she is more boring with him. And if that's anything, like that would be enough reason for me to be like, I don't know if I'm into this.
But Max said that, right? Max said the problem is Jesse's a good guy. And what Deb doesn't understand is just because he's a good guy doesn't mean he's their guy.
Exactly. Sunita said, agrees with me, saying that I think that Jesse isn't giving us full Jesse when he's with Deb, and that's when he should feel open to be himself. Neither, in my opinion, is being their true self with each other. Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. And that's what the big problem is, for sure. Okay, so Nicole's saying that they had a hot tub that Sydney and Isaiah were in it during their hideaway. I don't remember seeing the hot tub. I don't remember the hot tub.
It's been a long season. We've done 2 Love Islands.
It's true. Summer of Love Island for sure. And so at least what Timmy was saying, though, like at least now you have a level of clarity. Like I think that like, that's true too, though. Like him knowing that she's not feeling fully fulfilled. Right. Like, do you know what though? It's weird that they're both Tauruses because maybe we have their signs wrong. No, they talked about it on the show.
No, yeah, they're both Tauruses. But I'm wondering if he's closer to he's like my ex-husband, like closer to Gemini.
Like no, it might have his Mercury. His Mercury might be his Mercury might be in Gemini or something else. Yeah, because like. I find that with the two of them not being able to communicate, like it seems like they should have a better way to do this. But I feel bad for Jesse, but I've been saying it all along. I don't see it. And these Facebook people are being like, oh, you know, I'm sick of Deb doubting him. It's not doubting him.
It's so funny how they've turned on Deb. They really turned on Deb. Like, it's crazy how much they turned on Deb. But I will say this, Jesse played a good game. If he comes out and he goes and dates somebody else, people will not blame him. So I don't even know.
So Danielle says, Deb and Jesse remind me of Mackenzie and Connor. Felt like something was missing too. But
again, it was a communication. Like Connor had a lot of reservations.
Yeah, I still feel like Connor was very, and this could be similar to Jesse, being sexually and relationship inexperienced, and so they are not able to give it back. Yeah.
And remember, Mackenzie kept saying, but that might be why Mackenzie's saying what she's saying to Deb. She's like, you're not yourself. You're not your true self. And remember, Mackenzie felt that same way. She wasn't her true self around Connor because
and then she was fun when
because she felt judged.
Right. Well, and like that seems to happen when you decide to dim your light for the other person. It just sucks the fun right out of you. Yeah. And it seems like this also might have been what was going on with Nadja a little bit. So we're going to get to that shortly. So Danita says, I barely remember Sydney talking about a hot tub, but I don't remember seeing it either. Yes, I could maybe remember her talking about a hot tub, but I don't remember seeing it personally.
Yeah, weird.
So Deb and Zeta do have another conversation, and she definitely lets Zeta know that she reassured him that she still likes him and all this stuff, but it still feels awkward and their relationship is awkward right now. And she cares about him a lot. She does. And I do think she cares about him a lot. Yes. I just don't think that I don't know if Jesse is mature enough to like relationship mature enough and emotionally mature enough to be able to be in a relationship in general. And I think Deb is just relationship inexperience as well. I think they're both just too young and not able to say like, this is what I need. This is who I am. Are we compatible? And like be a little bit more honest about it. I think they're both just like
So
emotionally immature.
would they be that way with the right people? Is what I want to know.
I think that there's always going to be somebody that would be able to bring out the best in you at whatever
And
age
that's
that
how I
you are.
feel. Yeah, that's how I feel.
So we hear Deb's parents pop up on the screen. And I thought her parents were lovely. I think her dad was giving some sound advice, kind of saying don't rush into something, but also you don't want to dismiss certain things. And so I think that was sound advice. And her brother was quite smart as well with the advice that he was giving. I was impressed by the amount of communication that her family seemed to have from the male side of things. I thought that was pretty great. And so Jesse obviously goes and meets their family, and it was a nice moment. And then, oh my God, though, my heart was breaking for Jesse though when Deb left and she's
And he had to tell his parents.
It's like, I asked her to be my girlfriend. They're like, she said no. Okay. Both his mom and grandmother are beautiful, and like I don't think you watched back, but we found on his Instagram a picture of him as a child, and he's such a cute little kid, and it made me really like endeared to him a little bit more. But I just think that he just doesn't know how to be in a relationship yet. I just think that he just doesn't know how to do it yet, and that he's a good guy, and will treat you well, but you not necessarily, unless it's with the right person, might get that zing and have that like relationship for life. So I was really heartbroken for him that when he had to tell his parents.
I was sad for him. I was sad for him.
Sad. Anything else about Deb and Jesse's parents or family visits? Okay, wait. And the mom, I think it was Jesse's mom, said it's okay to still get rejected. Or somebody said that. And it's like, it's true though. And like, I know it hurts and it's hard, but getting rejected, it doesn't mean that there's anything necessarily wrong with you, right?
Yeah. I think the conversation came at a good time for him, because remember, he just kept kind of analyzing and over analyzing it to Timmy. He was really kind of upset, and that's why I think I felt bad for him. So him having that, I think, because even the guys trying to tell him, it didn't seem to help him. I think him having that conversation with his family helped him a lot move past it. Yeah,
and like, in your 20s, your relationship is most not likely going to end. Every relationship you have in your 20s is most likely going to end. So he's just learning about communicating and being in relationship with somebody else. And so, yes, it might hurt, it might be painful, but you're going to learn something, and you're going to learn like when is the right moment to actually ask these things in order to get the answer. Like, usually when you ask this, you expect there to be a yes, right? But I think that he was acting thinking that this is what she wanted. Yeah. And that's the difference with the timing of him doing it.
Yeah. I think he thought it would bring them closer, but she wasn't ready. I just hope that Jesse takes this and he doesn't go the other way.
He's gonna be fine.
No, some men, they take all this rejection and then they start acting like fuckboys. And I hope
I don't know if it's in him though.
That's what I'm saying. I'm hoping he stays him. I really do feel like that part is his true self, the loyalty part. I hope he stays with that and understand. And I think coming out the villa and hearing how people like him for that might
he's gonna have so many girls, but like
I hope he stays true to that and doesn't go the other way where he's like fucking around a bunch of girls. Like,
I see that for him.
The only thing.
He moves too slow. Like, he's just like.
I love how he keeps saying how he has no size. And I'm just like, why do you keep saying?
Oh, about like he's like, I don't want to disappoint you. Yeah, that was also weird though, Jesse. Like that joke. It didn't land anyways.
Yeah, I know
Peacock
that. Yeah,
weirded me out.
he's just so weird. He's so weird, but whatever.
So you must have loved when Zeta's mom came on the screen because A, she's gorgeous. I think it was her brothers. I loved how her mom was like, when you picked Jeff, I turned off the telly. And I was like, we were with
You
you.
and us. Because I basically was, yeah, I was like, she can't pick him. Don't pick him.
It was really, I don't know. It was
I'm
nice
glad
comment.
that they told her that was not the right move, because that literally wasn't. But I'm so happy she got to see her mom. I'm they're beautiful, and I'm glad she knows that her mom knows that Timmy is the person. They really, because they've been very, so unlike Sydney and Isaiah's parents, they have been very open and honest that they love Timmy on social media. So I'm glad that she got to know that her friends and family really do support her relationship with Timmy, because I think she also needed that to keep going. I know people think, oh, they're just solid. Yeah, but just having that in your, relationship, to know that you're both of your sides of your families really, really love your relationship, moving forward, does help.
Absolutely, absolutely. And like with her mom just being like, I knew when I saw Timmy that he was your guy. I
Yeah,
loved her retelling the story that basically her and her mom decided to not step forward for anyone. So
anybody.
she wasn't going to be the Black woman that stepped forward that nobody stepped forward for. And so
Right.
they decided that she wasn't going to step forward for anybody. And she said that she felt like it was God pushing her to step forward. I was
Yeah.
like
And I
that
think
before I
that's
nearly
also
cried.
why they've been supporting her, because they knew that if she stepped forward for him, and the fact that she stepped forward for him and he automatically picked her, that meant something on both of their parts.
Did you cry like Danielle and Charlene did?
I did not cry.
I got
Yay.
teary-eyed though when she talked about just like the allowing yourself to be in flow with your purpose and your life. Like that gets me teared up because it's just so I think it's just such a special moment. And if they were to ever get married, that's something that she would say in her vows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just think it was really beautiful. Uh that proposal from Jesse seemed like it was done under pressure. Even Deb said it. Yes, exactly. So unfortunately, I think that he wouldn't have been rejected if he just had not done that and done it when he felt that it was right, the right time, when he was compelled to do it because he knew it was the right moment. And that's a lesson to learn. Don't be making grand gestures if you don't actually fully mean it or don't feel the moment is right there, because it may not
Right.
land.
Like he could have impressed upon her that he's into her. He wants to take this outside the villa without asking her to be exclusive and boyfriend.
Timmy's sister comes up on the screen, and obviously they'll I don't know if they could see each other on their Zoom meeting or whatever, but she's also beautiful and super supportive of Zeta, and I'm so shipping this couple that I was very happy to see all the families interacting and how they
Yeah, it was
interacted with
beautiful.
them.
It was beautiful, and I'm glad she relayed. It's kind of the same thing that we saw in the UK with India and Dami's families. Even though mom and dad could not pop up on the screen, she relayed that they are very into the relationship, which I think is something he needed to hear as well. So
Stamp of approval was
yes,
given,
yes,
100%. And so after the chat, we see Zimmy talking, and they were like, she's like, you didn't tell Naomi was a rocket. Like, Naomi is a rocket. She's
yes.
definitely gorgeous. She's like, oh, so all your whole family's fit, eh? And I
They
was
are.
like,
I've
they
seen
are
pictures. They
very.
are very
I definitely
beautiful.
creeped Timmy's Instagram after, and I was like, he's cutie.
Hmm.
He's a little cutie. Also to note, I believe that Zeta does have the most Instagram followers out of anybody on the season right now. Her and Timmy. She's in the 200s. Timmy is in like 170 or 180,
Good.
and then next to them is Isaiah and Sydney, and they have around almost 100, like
Yeah,
60,
good.
70, 80.
They should have
So
more.
I mean, but like this is they started off all at normal numbers,
Yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
it definitely it is showing that there is support for Zeta, even if it's not on Facebook.
Oh yeah, no, no, no. Instagram and Twitter got them. Instagram and
Mhm.
Twitter got them. Yeah.
Simi's family meeting was great. I really like Zeta's mom and Timmy's sister. I wish we could have heard more from Zeta's brothers, but they seem happy to see Timmy when he came over. Great vibes. I can see Timmy like teaching her brothers like the ways and like them really looking up to him. So I
I
love
think
that.
he's the oldest, and he has a bunch of brothers too. So yeah, and their mom and dad of the villa.
I'm like, but does anybody ask about Zimmy followers on IG? Yes. So I believe, yeah, they're high. They're high. I guess I felt that you were going to ask me this because I did just mention it. Yes, the retelling of the story warmed my heart. Yes, they're so sweet. You could see that both Timmy and Zeta felt relieved. Yes, because like they want their approval of their family. They know what they're feeling, but they also still have been in a bubble for 6 weeks. Like they don't know if what they're feeling is just because of
Mhm.
circumstance, but knowing that their family is supporting of this relationship, the fact that her mom is so mad that shutting down the TV, knowing that she is her person, like all of that, I think validates what they're feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, 290. Oh, but they've gone even up even more since yesterday. So wow, Zeta at 298, Timmy at 215. That's a big jump for before the season's over, I would say.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive. Yes. Are we gonna get a win here? Fuck yeah.
That's who I voted for.
Yes, yes, yes. So then we hear Phoebe's mom calling her, and Phoebe looks exactly like a mix between her mom and her dad. Like a splice, like in half. I felt that she looks exactly like half of both of them. I thought that was really interesting. Parents' name Randy and Andy, which I also thought was funny. I had a friend. What was her parents' name? Ronnie and Ronald. And I was like, come on, guys. Like, do you really want to be calling out your own name in bed?
Well, I mean, who is it? Taylor Lautner's marrying a Taylor.
Okay, I didn't know that, but that's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's quite
So
quite a bit.
they're going to be Taylor and Taylor
Taylor and Taylor
Lautner.
Leather. um, so Tony and Antonio join once Chad joins over and talks to the family, and it's just like they know that they are not at the level to meet the parents at all. Chad's not that engaging, in my opinion.
I wanted to fast forward through that entire thing. I was
Yeah.
just like, no. That
Mm-mm.
was another thing of like, they do not need to go to the end. Like, this whole thing felt
It was like
bullshit.
what's her name? Lathan
Lakin,
and was it
Lakin,
Layton?
and
Lakin, yeah, with K.
Lakin,
And
and yeah.
I
Mm-hmm.
forget his name now. I see
Yes.
his face.
Yeah.
Benny.
Yeah.
And like, like they were having to meet the parents, but they literally just got together. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like
By
this is
default.
a full circle. They've had the full experience. Came in as Costa Girls, or she didn't come in as Costa Girl, I don't think, but like, end of the season entries. They got a couple. Maybe they can date outside the show, but they do
Bye.
not need us to be voting for them.
Bye.
Bye bye. So yeah, Tony and Antonio, which is another really so Tony and Tony and Randy and Andy. It's very funny.
Weird.
But he said that his dad says that or was it his mom, that he knew that Phoebe was the girl for him when they were in Casa Amor. I was like, really? I think they're just saying that.
What? He's been through 3 girls. Anyway, go ahead.
So we see Phoebe telling the girls about this little debrief about what was going on, but they didn't debrief together, which to me was like, okay, so they're not a real contending couple if they're not going to show them debriefing about their relationship after. And I think even so it's okay to get rejected. That was when they were debriefing with Deb and Jesse.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. So we meet then Hannah and Laura. Right, Hannah. Anyways, well, Sydney and Isaiah, they're both really nervous. Sydney's mom and sister show up on the screen, and like they seemed really happy with Sydney, or like her sister seems quite supportive. Her mom seems very realistic, which is
Yeah.
like nice. I'm like, I wasn't sure if her mom was going to be a little bit more, I don't know what the word, carefree, maybe, but she seemed like, I don't know, like maybe she was a doctor or like a psychologist. Like she seemed very
with it.
Yeah, she knew what was going on,
Yeah.
and she seemed like a very bright, intelligent woman.
Yeah.
In more of a clinical sense, though, and so
And the fact that her mom understood what, because we all saw it in Casa. He was very conflicted.
mhm,
He was very conflicted,
from the push from Jeff.
and then he got a little bit of a push, because it really was two sides of a different coin. I do agree with her mom, that it wasn't necessarily a comparison, but I do agree with whoever wrote the Twitter that it felt like he was saying that her beauty was better because it was more natural, and I didn't appreciate it then, and I'm glad it came out, and that's all I have to say, because I feel like it would have came out when they came out anyway. So yeah.
So Rachel's saying people are saying that they are not followers because they jumped 100K in a day.
No, you know what? I'm pretty sure they are followers. If you, so what people are not understanding is it's now being shown, I think, in other places behind.
Yeah,
so so if they're behind, probably
especially
behind,
in the UK. If they started watching it in the UK,
right,
all of them are going to be supporting
correct.
Zeta. And you
Especially
know how
after
many
Bria left, they're gonna start following them. So that
and
actually
if we look at like all the people on Love, like in the UK, they all
yeah,
have a million, 1.5 million, 2 million, 3 million followers.
yeah,
So if they have the UK on their side,
yeah,
which they definitely do,
yeah,
UK fans are loyal
they
until they're
are.
not.
Yep.
I think that, yeah, I agree with you. Like they must be at the point where Bria is gone,
Yeah.
Zimmy's back together, and that would be the surge for
Because a
sure.
lot of them I know did not start watching it. Some of them were watching it. Some of our, supporters were watching it with us. I was streaming it, but there are a lot of people who did not start watching the U.S. version
So many.
until a
It
few
was
weeks ago,
available.
and just started catching up. And yeah, like I absolutely can see them jumping that fast, that far, that fast. To be honest.
Yeah, we didn't mention this, but talking like, okay, so why would Phoebe ask her parents if they liked her striptease? She's a weird one. She didn't even mention Chad. All she talked about was wanting to be on the show. Absolutely. And like when I turned 21, I just wanted to be on the show. And like, did you like my striptease? And like your dad's like, well, I didn't realize that when, I was putting you in all those dance classes, this is how it will accumulate. And I'm like,
It
I
was
wouldn't
weird.
really point that out
It was weird.
personally. Personally. Sydney's mom was talking semantics, though. Comparison was implied. Yes, I think that she was just trying to make her feel better, though. It
Yeah.
wasn't like oh, she has this and she has this and she has this and she has this. It's
Right.
like he was just talking about what
Yeah, it wasn't a one for one comparison. I mean, her
it was
mom is
just.
correct. It was just that he was like, well, she's also this and she's this, and I think he was trying to convince himself that that's what he needed. Again, that
Mhm,
was the conversations that I was getting for. I agreed with Mac and some of the other girls. You shouldn't have even said it, because then it's out there and she's
mhm.
going to feel
Yeah, for
insecure
sure, for sure.
about herself.
And so I believe it was her mom that says that she likes him, but he does have some explaining to do. And so then when Isaiah joins and his little sister, it's put like bread in her hair to be like Sydney. Like I think Sydney would be a great little older sister girlfriend. Like I could see her fitting into
Mhm.
that kind of dynamic for sure. It was sweet. I did like it.
Yeah, I like their family meetup. I thought it was funny that his mom and dad were seemingly so into the relationship that they said nasty stuff about outside of on social media.
Oh, I
So
didn't
there's
see
that.
any of the nasty stuff
Yeah,
that
yeah,
they
yeah.
had said.
They
Hmm.
weren't a fan of Sydney, so there's that.
Well,
Mhm.
interesting. Well, they want their son to win the show, so they better zip it up at that
That's what
point.
I got from it.
So yeah, they're all really cute, but he does say to always put his family said always put her first. And after they go to the treehouse and they debrief and they're kind of really happy about meeting each other's parents, and I do like them together in this young puppy love relationship that they
Mhm.
have.
Yeah.
It's cute, it's
Mhm.
toxic,
Mhm.
it's it's what you get at that age. And I like them together at this point.
I give them to the end of the year.
Okay, that's long. Well, wait, was it this? I think that Matthew said that they got 2 weeks. He doesn't think that they will make it to October. I think he said. he thinks
Possible too. I could see it.
He said 2 weeks max. I feel like they will last longer though. I feel like they'll want to do a Halloween together.
That's what I'm saying. I'll give up till Christmas.
But okay, but then it's her birthday. Well, depending on when her birthday is, but Halloween, her birthday, they're going to want to do that. Maybe even Christmas, want to just get through one of those. Then it's his birthday, might want to get through one of those. So I was thinking spring might be a time where it's like, oh, there's so many new opportunities here. Maybe I don't need you anymore. So that's my prediction. But
I think they're going to, knowing his book, like his Pisces-ness and her Libra-ness, they're going to want to try to make it that they were the strong couple in the villa.
So San says, started watching 2.5 weeks ago. We're on episode 16 and I'm following Zena and Timmy.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Exactly what happened. Like they didn't know yet. And then they're like, no, we know.
No. Yeah, we know.
Would they be allowed to say the nasty stuff being said? I don't think so. I think that would be for after the show. They would say stuff.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
And Dolores says, welcome back. So we got to get through this because I got to go. Okay, so we see Jeff's family. And, you know, his brother's cute. They make some cute kids, that family. But the dad was kind of like, yeah, so what do you think about
his brother's more my type than him, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, he is. So his dad was just kind of like with Naja, he's like, oh, and Jeff says like, oh, you sound kind of iffy. And then Naja comes in and joins them and she's like, you're iffy. I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, what's going on? Like, let me explain myself or whatever. And I thought she handled it pretty well because he kind of put her on the spot in a weird way that I wouldn't think that you would want to. It wasn't jokey enough.
Confrontation of your potential girl. Yeah, it was weird. It
could have been handled a little bit more jokey, a little bit more like, my dad was a little bit iffy about you. What have you been doing? Or like, you know, maybe a little bit funnier, but it was just a little bit like sharp, in my opinion, that would put her on the defensive most likely. But I thought she handled it really well.
It came off condescending. Like, see, even my parents think that you're not good enough for me. So like, yeah.
And then Naja's mom and dad comes on the screen and they did not seem to really, really like him very much. The dad didn't say that much. And then she talks to her mom in Spanish, where it seemed like she was saying it to convince them like, oh, I do like him. Because they probably know that he doesn't like him at all. And so I thought that this was a failed family meeting. It seems like she was trying to convince everybody, including her family, that she's into Jeff and including Jeff's family also. And I just didn't think it went over really well. What'd you think about, did I miss anything?
No, I thought it went not too well. I also think it played a hand into what both of them ended up doing later on in the show.
So getting after all the family visits, so getting ready, Deb is thinking about telling Jesse that she just wants to fight for them and fight for their relationship, which is fine. Like, it's just great. Like, they're trying to figure it out. And she wants to try and figure it out. So go for it. And
I think the other thing that the reason why they are all on their side is I don't think Deb and Jess are being fake and phony. Right? Like, they truly believe they're going to try this. And that they want to try this. And that is what they're being genuine about it. Whether they're good together or not, that is what is coming across to everybody.
So Jeff and Naja are having another conversation. And I don't know if he said this isn't in his, no, I think he said it to her, but he's like, oh, you know, like my dad, though, he's usually right. He might've said it in his confessional. And that's, I think, where everything went sour. Because if his dad is always good at pointing out things about potential girlfriends or relationships that
Mm-hmm.
he listens to or he doesn't listen to, his experience is that what his dad sees is usually right, whether he sees it at the same time as him or not. And
Correct.
so that is lingering and just like heavy on, on Jeff's thoughts. So we got a
Yep.
text. Go to the fire pit. So in the fire pit, it's going to be completely at the hands of the Islanders. And so a lot of people are asking why they did this. At first, I thought it was like maybe because if they had voted, maybe Jesse and Deb would be at the bottom. But then I realized they just did this in UK.
They do it all every season. So this
Yeah,
is always
around here
what
they
they
decide.
do. They
Yes,
did it last season. Remember, Trina and Andre got kicked out by Olivia, and Charlie's ass
right.
went to the final like we did not want, because if it was
Mm-hmm.
up to us, his ass would have went home.
Mm-hmm.
So they always do this. What the difference is between this US and UK is they actually say who they're voting for in front of everybody in the fire pit, whereas UK they text and tell them who they're voting for, and then they announce it. It's weird. I don't know why that is, but I think then we got what we got this year because they came down to some kind of confrontation, a stupid conversation. But yes,
So and we saw all the couples like going
yeah.
off and deliberating as to the pros and cons, why each couple should stay and should go.
Hmm.
There was not one part of me that thought that Phoebe and Chad were going to be able to stay. They might get a vote or two,
Hmm.
but I did not think that they were going to stay because they haven't had as much time. It has nothing to do, in my opinion, with friendships. It had to do with the potential of a relationship. And they all know that Deb and Jesse were working on their relationship. So, so the potential of a relationship
Hmm.
is that doesn't mean that they're going to be guaranteed to be in a better place than Deb if they had the same amount of time. So I completely understand all the couples that have spent a longer time with
Hmm.
Deb and Jesse to see that they have something to fight for.
Hmm.
Like, it made sense to me. And the fact that Jeff was getting so upset when Nadja was like, well, like I think that everybody's gonna keep Deb and Jesse, and he's like, I'm gonna say something. I'm so mad. I'm so mad. Why is he so mad? Can you explain to me why he's so mad?
I don't know. Phoebe's been through 5 guys, and Chad has been through 3. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about here?
I don't know. I
It
don't
like
know.
they're together by default. Even if they want, they could have kept Mac. We don't know. Mac
Mhm.
took herself out of the equation, rightfully. But at the end of the day, they're on the potential of something. Not they were coupled up for weeks and coming into this finale like Jeff and Naja. That's not what happened.
So Jessica says Nadja and Jeff were hypocrites. If the OGs are playing buddy buddy, then so is Nadja with Phoebe, with her best friend. Jeff is acting like Phoebe and Chad have this undeniable connection. It's base level at best. Exactly. And
Yeah,
so it was pissing me off that he was so angry. Like it had nothing to do with him. Like, does
nothing.
he think that he would more likely win the game
I think
if,
so.
but they weren't going to win.
I think he thought in his head that if he got Deb and Jess out, they would get their votes and they would win. I think he got it in his head. I'm gonna tell you the truth because again, if Timmy and Zeta and Sydney and Isaiah wanted to get the win, they could have kicked Deb and Jess out. I think Jeff really got in his head that that's what would have happened. He's wrong.
Well, I'm thinking that he got a little bit spooked, obviously from his father. So
Hmm.
I think that he might have had it like lingering, like, oh, are people being deceitful, not being their true selves? Maybe that he doesn't deserve to be there. If like their relationship isn't, the best, maybe he's feeling a little bit guilty or projecting the fact that like maybe he was saved at times. And so I think it was a combination of all those things of not necessarily feeling secure in his relationship that he needs to go throw stones at Deb and Jesse here.
I
And
agree.
so Phoebe and Chad obviously got the most amount of votes, and it made sense to me. They would have been voted out by the public, so I was fine for them to go. And then Jeff needs to go steal the spotlight.
That was
Like,
so rude. On top of the way the who he was confronting and the way he was confronting the person, it was beyond rude because it was not like they were gone. let them have their time to say goodbye. They only have
Absolutely.
like a small amount of time to say goodbye. Even everybody said it. Sorry, Jeff took away your time to say
Yeah.
goodbye to us.
It's so rude. And for the fact that he wants them to stay and he's trying to fight for them and he's trying to do the right thing, but then he completely overshadows their leaving because he wants to throw a temper tantrum. I was like, man, this fool is like ruining his game, somebody else's game, and his public perception, like all in a few words.
It was weird.
And then, like, do you know that people are saying that this is Zeta's fault?
Of course they are, because she was supposed to keep her mouth shut as a dark skinned black woman. She shouldn't have said anything.
All she says, like, what do you mean by buddy buddy? And then they're like, oh, she shouldn't have said anything. She shouldn't have interfered.
Yeah. Anyway, the person who did what he should have is Timmy, because he looked while he was hugging Phoebe. He looked at Jeff like, oh no, we're not about to do this, and came right around. I was like, who are you stepping to? Because it's not my woman.
Absolutely not. And like, he's just kind of like when Jeff is like all doing his all like big tough guy thing, and Timmy's like, "What are you doing, man? Like, what are you doing?" Like he looked like a clown. He got clowned. Like Jeff looked dumb, like real dumb. And it was an embarrassment in my opinion. Yeah, Timmy's stock went way up. It was very attractive. Him defending
and that's another reason why people are following. Again, Timmy has done that from the Bria, even with the Bria situation. Personally, a lot of people had issues with it. I did not. I thought he did a lot of things correctly in the situation, but
yeah. We do think that Jeff has the hots for something for Phoebe.
I do think he does.
So they finally all leave, and then like Nadja is mortified because these are her friends that her boyfriend is basically like threatening, and she says to Timmy when Phoebe and Chad are leaving out the front doors, she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and he's like, "F Nadja, F Nadja, F that girl, F Nadja." I'm like, "Excuse me? You're disgusting at this point. Like, I do not support you speaking about her in this way for any sort of reason. Like, this is not cool. For my baby, my mama, like, come on, baby, I want to be introduced to my family, introduced to my mama.
Saying it. It's all put on, because if you could, it's kind of like what he did with Zeta. My whole thing is, if you could flip that quickly, it's because it was all put on.
It's fake. Yeah. Agreed. I agreed. Yes, Dolores didn't understand Jeff. I agree. He looked ugly. It was so unattractive. Yes, Tamika. Timmy had his eye on Jeff the whole time, looking out for Zeta. Absolutely. And so, Phoebe, I thought it was really interesting. Phoebe and Sydney hugged, and like apparently Sydney really loves Phoebe now. So maybe when Phoebe's not stealing your man, like she's fun to be around. I don't know, but like they seem to be the best of friends.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, they probably would be friends if there wasn't guys around.
Yeah. I mean, even Mackenzie liked their picture when they got to, I don't know. Listen, Phoebe has something. I don't see it, but they must all see it. So it is what it is. I wouldn't be friends with her. She's shady.
Yeah, when he said if Nadja.
F Nadja.
F Nadja, I was like, really? Yeah, exactly. Like, So we see Nadja crying in the change room, and then Jeff doesn't want to sleep in the same bed as her. Like, you're a fool. Like, anyways, I was so irritated by that. Him as a temper tantrum. But this is very Aries. He probably has his moon in Aries as well. Like, he probably has another. I'm going to look it up. I'll see if he has his moon in Aries, because this is very defiant.
Have another Aries in his
chart. His moon, or even maybe his Venus, something else is in Aries. He has more Mars energy in his chart for sure. So in the morning, we see that Ziza comes and comforts Nadja, and she just was like, she just didn't feel like this was right for her, and like why he was acting this way, and it was just that she didn't feel like this person was right for her anymore. So she does go and she talks to Jeff, and she's just like, she didn't understand what he was saying, and he wasn't looking at her. He wasn't communicating anything with her. He's just being short, and getting upset that she didn't comfort him, but she comforted Timmy. Like, what? Like, you're the one that's acting a fool, and she's apologizing to her friends on your behalf.
Yeah.
She's
That part
apologizing.
I think was his immaturity. His ego and his pride was hurt for no reason.
Oh, and then
Uh,
he's like, I'm scared to get hurt. Like, shut
yeah,
up.
yeah.
Mm-mm.
He's full of shit, but he needs to grow up, and
Mm-hmm.
that's my opinion. He needs to grow up. He does. That's all it comes down to. He did the same thing with Zeta. In
Mm-hmm.
my opinion, it's all immaturity. He needs to grow up.
Yep. And so she thought that he was going to be, well, he thought that she was going to be the one. And it's like, no, you
No,
didn't.
you didn't.
And she thought that this was a big red flag. And I'm like, yes, it was. It was definitely a huge red flag
Big red.
because it showed, like, something that she said that we didn't see was that she was like, oh, like, I feel like I have to be somebody for him to be like happy with me. And like, and that could make sense. And like, I could see her. She's like, I'm not allowed to talk to the guys in the villa.
Yeah,
And I'm wondering if they've had other altercations that they just didn't show us where he
I
was
had to
being
be because
controlling.
I said obviously there was stuff that we were missing because the fact that she was saying that now he's like that she's into Timmy and it was weird and came out of nowhere and but the way she made it sound like it was there was more instances like that.
Yeah.
um and so yeah, like I definitely then on top seeing why she pulled herself out of it, because if that was the case, meaning at this point there's nothing that she could do to please him, yes, she needed to leave.
So she does gather everybody to talk to them. And this is another instance where people are mad at Zeta. So apparently, Zeta wasn't consoling enough to Naja when she decides that she's going to leave the villa. So Naja tells them all that, like, you know, it's not meant for her to be here. She doesn't want to go to the final based upon a lie on if their relationship isn't strong. And so they basically say that they're going to be bowing out. And so yeah, the Twitter, the Facebook fans say that Zeta, like, they can't believe how like cold and unconsoling Zeta was in this at this time.
She
And
was
it's
the only one talking to Naja in the damn dressing room, the only one hugging her, the only one who was like something is not wrong with this girl. Even when
and
she came out of the dressing room, the only person who paid her any attention was Zeta. What the only thing she could have done was to convince her to stay, and it would not have been the right thing to do. She needed to leave that
well,
relationship.
it's exactly like the relationship is not good. This is a huge red flag, and like to she can't, like, what she says, like, oh, you should stay. It's like, so then you're supporting her staying in something that she feels could be borderline abusive. Like, that's not right either. She's just listening and being supportive as she can as a
Zeta
listener.
has been probably the best person in this villa. No matter what people have done, she has supported them. She has listened to them. She's barely even given advice except for these people to follow their heart. And every time they come from talking to her, they know what to do. I do not understand what more that this. But if you can't tell, I'm sorry. For people who don't like me talking about racism, if you can't tell that this is all based on racism,
Yeah.
it's racism. Notice how Zeta is the only dark skinned black woman left in the villa, and she is the only one that gets the most hate.
Mm-hmm.
Although they have turned on Deb a little bit because of Jesse. But I will say, she gets the most hate. No matter what she does, she cannot be right. She could sit there like she was doing and say nothing and let the person be who they are and do what they're doing. It's her fault. She could console them and talk to them. It's her fault. I don't get it, except for racism. And that's it. That's all I
I
have
feel you.
to
So V says, I feel like production cut a lot of Jeff's personality out, not to mention that he would get jealous when he spoke to other
Yeah.
guys. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. We didn't see that.
Something that was obviously cut out. And yes, I don't know if we have time to talk about the Tiger Lily situation.
So yeah, let's talk about Tiger Lily tomorrow.
Yeah, so we'll talk about it tomorrow with the
Mhm.
finale and everything. Plus, the reunion's going to be, I think, this week as well.
Well, she's not invited to the reunion,
and
so
she's not invited to the reunion, which I
Mhm.
think is kind of telling. But
maybe she will be now, though, that things have gone this way. He's not.
I have concerns. I We'll
So
talk about it.
so Nadja just basically says that she doesn't want to take away from their moment. Like she definitely just wants to like
Yeah.
step away and
Yeah.
leave the game and allow the final three to be the final three. She doesn't feel like she and her
Yeah.
relationship is meant to be in the finals.
Yeah.
And I think that that's the right decision, as much as like that sucks. But if he hadn't have done that,
Yeah.
like I'd be like, yeah, be in the final. Like you'll still probably get fourth place, but
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah,
go
yeah.
be in the
I
final
agree.
and do the whole dress shopping and all that stuff. But then if it's based on a full-on lie where it's a red flag that you do not want to pursue a relationship with this person and having to write vows and all that stuff, like it was just been too much of a lie to go through. So I
Yeah.
definitely think that she made the right decision.
I do too. I also think that's why we're getting finale tonight instead of Tuesday, because originally it was Tuesday, but tonight would have been final dates, and then Tuesday the finale. They can do 3 final dates in an
Yeah.
hour
Yeah.
and do the finale.
Or maybe even an hour and a half. They did an hour and a half the other day, and so
Yeah.
it went fine.
Yeah.
Well, it's nice to have you back, Tamika. We will be back tomorrow at 6:15 Eastern, and we'll talk about the finale.
Yeah.
So thanks again, everybody in the chat. You guys have been loyal to the soil for the whole season.
I missed you guys. I missed everybody.
Yay!
But I am so happy to be back for finale.
Dolores says, I'm kind of excited. This is my first Love Island finale. What do I have to look forward to? Actually, it's going to be a jam-packed episode. So there's going to be final super dates. So it's going to be like a date on a yacht, maybe a helicopter ride. Like there's going to be some really extravagant dates. The fact that there's only 3 of them, that would mean that they're probably going to put some money into all of them. So there should be very good dates, I would hope. And
I already put out the dates that I wanted, but I don't know if we're going to get those.
Me neither. And then they will go dress shopping and write their vow or like their poems or whatever to each other. The guys will do that. The girls would do that. And then they will maybe learn a dance. I don't know if they did that in the States or not.
No.
And then it's just basically they go and say their vows to each other. And I don't know if Sarah Hyland is like working right now because she's on her honeymoon, maybe.
I don't know. I think she's supposed to be there, but yeah.
Then they usually to kind of go through each of the finalists' relationship and show like all the highlights and stuff like that and talk to each of them. And then we learn the votes and who wins. So it should be a good episode, I would say.
It should be. I'm hoping for a Zimmy win. I did vote for them while I was on the ship. I could only vote on one device though, so I'm hoping
I think they got it.
Twitter and Instagram pulled it out for them because Facebook was squarely in the Isaiah Sydney column.
Exactly. Well, thanks everybody. So we'll see you tomorrow at 6:15 Eastern. Make sure that you subscribe to both of our channels. Go ahead.
I will stream tonight's finale. If you want to do a finale watch party with me, I will be streaming it tonight at 9 on the dot. Happy finale night, guys. I'm so excited to be back.
Yay! So enjoy the streaming, and then we'll be back tomorrow to talk about it. So please like this video. Please also let us know in the comments who you voted for. I want to see if we are in tune and lockstep with who ends up winning this show. So let us know in the comments who you want to win, who you're voting for, all that jazz. And we'll see you guys tomorrow at 6:15 Eastern. Bye!